Yo, what's happening, people? Okay, so today we're gonna be making a Coca-Cola chocolate cake, but I think you can probably tell we're taking a few liberties with the ingredients. Yeah, anyway, so we're gonna start with 2 cups of plain flour. You can use all-purpose flour, but I'm using plain flour. The recipe called for granulated sugar, but I decided to go with coconut sugar because I read that was a good replacement for granulated sugar. So we went with coconut sugar, 2 cups of coconut sugar. By the way, I'm going to put a link to the recipe that I mostly followed in the description, so you can check that out if you want to. But we just add in now a teaspoon of baking soda or bicarbonate of soda, a teaspoon of salt. It's about a teaspoon of cinnamon, grounded cinnamon, and then mix in the dry ingredients there. You're gonna mix it so it's all kind of, mixed. So yeah, we're using Pepsi Max mango flavored because it just sounded really cool. I was like, all right, let me try that. And yeah, so 1.5 cups of Pepsi Max mango, and that's 1 cup of butter, just cubed up, cut up and cubed. I'm going to melt that in the pot. It's on a medium heat to melt that. And once it's melted, going to stir it while it's heating up. But once it's melted, now we're going to add cocoa powder, and that's 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. We're going to mix that in, and I'm going to wait till it boils. So I'll mix it and stir it while it boils. It's boiling now. And while it's hot, once it boils, you take it off the heat, and then you pour it into the dry ingredients. And yeah, it turns out it's actually better to use a spoon or a spatula or something like that, because that whisk got real clogged up. So yeah, switch to the spoon to mix it in. Now we're gonna mix up some eggs in a separate bowl. So that's 2 eggs we're gonna mix in. So there's 1, there's 2. And then we're gonna add, was it a teaspoon of vanilla? Something like that. That's about a teaspoon, I think. And British buttermilk, because this is an American cake we're making, and America doesn't exist without Britain, so we're adding British buttermilk. Okay, that was what was that? It was 1/2 cup of British buttermilk, and you should probably use a regular whisk because, well, unless you like cleaning up a whole bunch of mess afterwards, just use a regular whisk because I'm still cleaning that up right now, actually. Anyway, gonna mix it all in with the previous cake. You could switch back to a hand whisk at this point. Mix it all in till it's like all mixed. And then I'm going to grease up the pan. You can use butter to grease, or I'm using something rapeseed oil in that spray. We just grease up real good and put the cake mixture into the pan. You don't have to put the tray underneath, but I do just in case it leaks out the bottom. And that oven was preheated to 176 degrees Celsius, which is like 300 and something or other in American. But now we're gonna do the frosting, or the icing, and that is again 1.5 cups of Pepsi Max mango. Well, a little bit more than 1.5, maybe just a little bit more. Just a bit more, But yeah, 1.5 cups of Pepsi Max mango. Gonna heat that up, and then add in 1/2 cup of butter, cut up again, and add that in, and then 1/4 cup of cocoa powder as well. And here's the thing, I know I messed up the icing. I know I messed it up because what you're supposed to do is wait till it heats up, take it off the heat, then add the rest of the ingredients. I didn't do that. I added the rest of the ingredients while it was still on the heat, while it's still on the stove, and that's 4 cups of sugar I just added, of coconut sugar, instead of icing sugar, which would have made better icing most likely, but I decided to go with coconut sugar because I read it was a good replacement for icing sugar and granulated sugar. It isn't, as we're about to find out, but I might have a little surprise for you. But anyway, I'll mix it all up, and that's out the oven now, and wait until it's cooled down. It took about 1.5 hours, 2 hours or so to cool down, and now we're going to pour the icing on the cake, and there we have it, the Coca-Cola chocolate cake, or more like the Pepsi Max mango chocolate coconut cake. So now we're gonna try it out. I've never actually had Pepsi Max mango before, so I did want to try that just on its own. Just poured me a cup of that and had me a little sip of that. And you know what? It's actually pretty good. But here's the thing real quick though, like that whole bottle is 2 liters and it only costs like £2. If I was to buy a 500 milliliter bottle, it would have been like $1.90. So yeah, that was a good deal. But anyway, here's me trying out the cake right now, and even though I know I messed up the icing a little bit, it was still pretty good. It was still a pretty good cake. The icing tasted good. Well, it's not really icing, it's something else. But here's the thing though, with the fake icing that I made, it's not really good as icing because it's a little bit too liquidy, but it turns out that, you know, you can make a pretty good dipping sauce, right? Like a chocolate dipping sauce, or, you know, like a chocolate spread, you know, put some cheese on it, put some eggs on it, some scrambled egg, and you know, that was a banging sandwich right there. So I might have messed up the icing a little bit according to, you know, the ingredients or whatever, but you know, I think I did pretty well. It tasted good and I can use it for other things. So all in all, it was a pretty good cooking, baking experience. But yeah, anyway, there we have it. The Coca-Cola or Pepsi Max mango chocolate cake, coconut cake. Try it. I liked it. And yeah, peace.